At a depth of over 100 meters underwater, a diver pierced a bag of milk with a knife. The milk spread evenly into the water, and none of it was drawn into the submarine below, proving the vessel was already completely flooded. When the hatch was finally opened, the diver was met with a heartbreaking sight of 23 young sailors' bodies floating inside the submarine. What the divers didn't know was that all 23 of these men could have been saved, if not for a disastrous decision made by Russia's military leadership. Instead, they died alongside 95 others entombed at sea. This would become the deadliest submarine disaster in Russian history, all caused by a single torpedo. In August 2000, Russia's largest nuclear-powered attack submarine, the Kursk, left port and headed for the Barents Sea. They took part in a Northern Fleet training exercise, but soon the crew in the torpedo room noticed a dangerous surge in the temperature of one of the warheads. One sailor believed a hydrogen peroxide leak was causing the heat spike. He urgently reported the situation to his superior, suggesting they launch the torpedo immediately to prevent catastrophe. But the officer brushed off the warning, claiming the temperature was still within safe limits, and that the scheduled launch was only 5 minutes away. What could possibly go wrong? That single misjudgment would prove fatal. As two sailors nervously watched the readout, the torpedo's temperature suddenly shot up to 152 degrees Celsius, and then it exploded. The massive blast disabled the sub entirely, sending it plummeting to the ocean floor. The shock jolted the sailors in the rear compartments, leaving them stunned. Acting fast, they sealed the watertight doors to stop flooding and tried to radio the command center, but there was no reply. They began to fear. Their commanders had been killed in the blast. The reality was far worse. The explosion had engulfed the torpedo bay in flames, and now the remaining warheads were being heated by the fire. The rising heat could trigger a second, deadlier explosion at any moment. With no options left, the men watched the temperature monitors. In tense silence, suddenly the displays went dark. They breathed a sigh of relief until 1 second later. The entire front of the submarine was torn open by a second massive explosion. Freezing seawater gushed in. A seasoned Master Chief ordered the remaining survivors to retreat to the 9th compartment in the rear while he ran toward the explosion, because he knew the greatest danger now was the onboard nuclear reactor. If it was compromised, none of them would survive.